Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in into another episode of Thrive with Ina podcast. Today, we have a very special guest from a very special industry, Michelle Stern. Michelle is an incredible artist, and I cannot wait for you all to hear her story. Michelle has a company, it's called Michelle Stern Beauty, and we're going to learn all about her craft, what makes her inspired daily to create the most amazing artworks of bridal faces. So, hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for coming on to our podcast and welcome.
Thank you for having me. I love that you said that because that's actually true. It's like artwork. Like
It
that's how
really
I look at it. It's not just like paint by numbers and just like, get somebody out of the seat. Like for me, it's truly art. And it always has
is.
been. And that was like why I got into it to begin with.
Yeah, so I cannot wait to hear your story. I can't wait to share with our listeners. Tell us a little bit how you began in your industry. When did you start?
Mhm.
Um, I'm sure you were always an artist, but we really want to know how it all began, how Michelle Stern Beauty began.
I'll tell you. I was always painting and sculpting and like drawing, and I really thought I wanted to go into fashion. Like being a makeup artist was never really on my radar, but I fell in love with makeup when I was 14 years old. My mom didn't wear makeup, so like I really taught myself. Um, at the time, like infomercials were really like a big thing, and now it's like Instagram and like TikTok. I remember like purchasing this whole makeup set and teaching myself how to do my own makeup, but because I was so like artistic, it was pretty easy for me. And at the time, I had like really bad skin, like teenage like breakouts and everything. So like I was just trying to cover that. And it just made me feel so much better about myself. Fast forward, I went to NYU, and the original Mac store was around the corner from my dorm. And I used to go in there and be like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, I would love to do this, but my parents will kill me. Like, this is not the plan. I ended up leaving NYU after a year, and then I went to FIT and I finished school and got my bachelor's there. But while I was there, I was doing like all of these internships and really didn't like fashion. Like I didn't like, wasn't that I didn't like fashion? I didn't like the people that I was working with. And I was just like, I don't know, it was just not a good fit. Like all they talked about, like it was what they were wearing to the Hamptons that weekend, and I just didn't care. And I realized like maybe I'm really just not that into fashion if this is all they care about. So I finished school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, I really wanted to work for Mac. That's what I wanted to do. I just didn't think it was like a real job at the time. For somebody with like a bachelor's. But anyway, I found my way into working for Mac, which was actually really hard at the time. I think now it's more of like a salesperson position, but at the time it was like a makeup artist position. You actually had to have experience, and I didn't. So I was like trying to figure out how to do this. And I met a girl who worked for Mac and just like convinced her to like talk to somebody to get me an interview, and I got a job with them. And I just fell in love with it. And from there, I started doing bridal makeup, which is still my like passion. I love doing bridal. And yeah, it just like turned into a thing. So I worked for Bobby after Mac. So for Bobby Brown, I was with them for years. And I worked at Bergdorf, which was like so close to my apartment. I worked 4 days a week, and they were super cool with me. Doing all of my work on the side. So like they would give me like these great schedules. Like I'm really thankful for that because I had like health insurance, 401k, like the Bergdorf discount. It was amazing. And yeah, and I was able to do all of my side work. But then I realized like it was just I felt like it was wasted time because I had like such a great business on the side, but there was a part of me that was like fearful to give up that cushion.
Uh-huh.
And like looking back, it's like you have to just like jump sometimes. But at the time, I was nervous. I was just used to this comfort and this cushion. So eventually, I finally left, and it was like the best decision ever because I didn't realize like once you give that up, you're now available all the time. So like people start realizing you're available on like a Monday at 2, a Tuesday at 3, you know what I mean? And like it just like spiraled from there. And also the hugest thing that like changed my business was Instagram. So like when I started to really start posting heavily in like 2015
Mhm.
is when my personal business took off.
That's amazing. So many pivots in your life. And it's such an interesting thing that a lot of entrepreneurs share and have in common is that fear of leaving the cushion of a job and the 401k and the health insurance. But once they do, it frees up a lot of time. But I love that you had both for a while until you felt that comf- comfortable level of discomfort that
Yeah.
you could actually leave, right? You
Yeah.
didn't just say, I'm going to start something and didn't have a backup plan. You just made yourself comfortable first and
Yeah.
then, took a risk, which is
Hmm.
what a lot of people do. And I love that. So you said that your parents wouldn't approve of the makeup work that you
You
did
know what the
back
truth
then.
is? I don't think they ever really cared. I think it was the pressure I was putting on myself because like I just grew up in an area where like you had to go to a great school and you had to just like have this incredible career. So I think I was putting the pressure on myself or like my peers were putting the pressure on me, not like directly, more so than my parents actually were. But I was like, if they're spending all this money on NYU, they're gonna be like, are you seriously gonna go and be a makeup artist now? Like that. I just assumed that, but it wasn't the case. They're
Yeah,
just happy that I was happy.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's interesting. The things that we think other people will think about us when we choose an avenue for our business or an
Yeah.
entrepreneurial path. And it's so incredible to see that you had such a journey, but kind of stuck with what you really loved and the passion that you had for the art that you do.
Yeah, that's true. Like, even though so many things have changed over the time, over like all these years that I've been doing this, the truth is I was always sure that I love doing makeup. So, like, I just kept at it and it just evolved with that. Like, I feel so lucky that I was able to choose something at such a young age that I was passionate about that I still love doing. Like, I never wake up and say, like, oh, I have to work today. Like I literally don't. I'm always excited. It's always something new. I love making women feel beautiful. I love like creating these looks that like make people like so happy. So it's every day is different and every day feels like amazing. So
Yeah, you're creating artwork for people to look over for years and years and years, something that's going to get passed down to generations, as far as the wedding work goes.
yeah.
Something that
Yeah.
the kids and the grandkids are gonna look at and see,
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, my parents or my grandparents, this is their wedding
Yeah.
day. This is the best day of their lives, and the makeup looks so beautiful." And it's just really, really awesome to see someone putting so much effort and love into the industry. And it's interesting that you and I have that in commonality. I don't think I told you this, but I also went to FIT and I was in fashion. I moved to this country for fashion industry for specifically bridal. I was in the bridal industry in fashion.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. And I did not love it, even though they weren't really talking about what they're going to wear to the Hamptons, but they chased me down in the Hamptons to fix their dresses. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was not for me either. I did not love that industry as well, and I left it for wellness and now
Yeah.
coaching. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting to see that commonality. What do you say is your absolute favorite part about what you do now?
Um I love that moment when like I hand somebody the mirror and they're just like, "Oh my God, like this is it. Like this is perfect." Like when they feel like beautiful, like when somebody's like, "Oh my God, I've never looked better." That I love that.
Yeah,
That's
and
like
that
the
I
best
think that's
part.
my favorite part about your actual online presence is the reveal moments. Is
Ah, I love
That's
that.
my favorite. Every time I open Instagram, I'm like, "Ooh, what the reveal is going to be today like?" I love it.
Yeah, I love the reveal. That's
Yeah,
my
I love
favorite.
that moment. Do you have a favorite project that you worked on maybe recently or throughout the years? Something that is going to be very memorable and something that you refer to when you think of like the most successful or the most exciting project that you worked on. It doesn't have to be bridal. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's your own makeup for an event or something.
That's so funny. I don't know why my brain doesn't work like that, where I'm just like, this is the best moment. Like, I just don't think like that. Like, everything is like amazing in the moment. And then it's like, It's
It's
just kind of
filed
like
to the amazing file.
I file it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. Well,
Mm.
that keeps it so various for you. Like you have all these references of your makeup that you've done. Is there something that you get inspired by? Like, how do you draw your inspiration besides loving what you do, besides having the passion for the art? But is there something specific that you do to re-inspire yourself?
You know what it is? Like my style is very specific. Like I stick with my style, which is timeless, it's elegant, it's elevated. So it's not like what's the trend right now. It's about making somebody look their best. Like, how am I going to make your features look the best that they can? How am I going to make you glow? You look beautiful. So like every face that I work on actually inspires me. So like I have daily inspiration.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you do have such a natural look to all of the art that you create. And I love calling it art because every time I look, it literally is. Every time I see a video behind the scenes or the reveal or the bride posts something and tags you, it literally is just what they look like before, but in an art form. Like you literally can take a photo and put it in the Louvre.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. How do you make your schedule? Because, the one thing that entrepreneurs all have in common is the overworking trend, right? So, how long did it take you to learn to set boundaries with yourself when you are not overworking? Because you do have busy seasons and you have low seasons and all the things that come with the challenge of being self employed.
Yeah. So, I'm lucky enough that sometimes I work hard and sometimes I just relax and like have me time and take care of myself. So I prioritize travel. So I will always leave some time for myself and just block off that time and I'll book something and I'll go somewhere and it really recharges me. And that's what I live for that. So I don't stop myself from doing things. I will leave. I'll I don't know. It's hard to say because like last fall, I remember like killing myself. I traveled for 6 weeks over the summer and then worked like every weekend, like September and October. But then like during the week, even though I was busy, like there I have a lot of downtime. So there is definite time for myself.
Mhm.
Um where I'm not working 24/7. So there are times when I really push it, but there are
Mhm.
times when I'm just like on a beach for 6 weeks. So I can't like,
Well, balance for a reason,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Now that you've established yourself in the industry, you probably get most of your work via word of mouth, right? Or referrals or social media, or like, how was it in the beginning?
In the
Once you established-
beginning, it was like definitely word of mouth and like people I would meet. Um, but then when Instagram, like when I started really posting on Instagram, it like changed it completely.
Yeah, you
And
mentioned that.
now I get a lot of referrals, a lot of Instagram, a lot of Google. Like for some reason, not for some reason, I pay for SEO. I don't know, like, but
Yes,
I
you put
come
in the
up
work.
like, yeah. I have so many like out of town clients who just find me on Google and like they'll have a gala, an event, they want a makeup lesson, and people will just find me. And a lot of my like weekday work, in addition to every thing else, comes from that, which is great.
That's amazing. How did you figure out all of the avenues of how to acquire clients? Was it from just learning it from the industry or just learning on your own?
I think it was just like an evolution. Like I never did any classes or like seminars or anything like on that. I just kind of let it build.
Hmm.
And again, social media is huge. It's huge. And that's why I like post so much. I don't post like a crazy amount, but like I try to keep up with it.
Hmm. No, you do an amazing job with it. I love your social media, and
Thank
like I said,
you.
the reveals are my favorite because you see the actual raw, amazing moments of people seeing the makeup for the first time and just being, whoa, this is what I'm gonna feel like. You're not
Yeah.
really making like when people look at it, they have an emotion. So you really are creating, a canvas for an emotion, for an emotional response.
Yeah, like there are times like there are like tears and I'm like, "Oh wait, don't cry." Don't do
You're like, "It's not waterproof that much."
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it like warms my heart. It makes me so happy to see. It's
Mhm.
like it's the best.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the challenges in your industry that you could talk about? Like something that you constantly have to work through or coach yourself on, or something like that's challenging specifically for your industry?
Hmm. I feel like I've been doing this for so long that I'm kind of in like I don't know, just also like my personality type, like things don't really bother me. They kind of like roll off.
Uh-huh.
Um Yeah, so I'm not really, there aren't like a huge amount of challenges that I've experienced. Like, every now and then there might be like a mother of the bride who's like a little difficult or,
Hmm.
like, but it's never, I don't even have bridezillas. People are like, you must have like crazy stories. I'm like, I really don't. Like, my style is pretty natural, so I don't feel like it is really like, I don't know, lent to that personality. Like, I'm not really for that, So like,
I think your personality attracts a certain type of
yeah,
bride that may just
kind of more
want
laid
that
back and
fun
chill.
vibe and laid back vibe
Yeah.
and not something that's super stressful.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's never really, and again, I think I just, like, ignore most things, so like,
You just have that filter for it, you know?
yeah, like, some artists will be like, "Oh, this person did a trial with me, and I didn't hear back from them," and I'm like, "I didn't notice." Like, it's like, if they wanna work with me, they wanna work with me, and if they don't, like, I'm sure there's a better fit for them somewhere, Like, you
Yeah.
just really can't make it about you. It's about them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I coach on with my entrepreneurs is that a lot of things that are taken personally in the early
Yeah.
stages of business, you can't
Mhm.
make a no be about you.
Yeah.
You just can't. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's going to derail you in your progress.
Yeah. And, there are certain people that like you vibe with and certain people that you don't. And the same goes for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I was able to, this is so beautiful. I was able to do a wedding this weekend for somebody who was actually like a special person to me. I did her first wedding 10, like,
Mhm.
I think it was like 9 years ago. And we just stayed in touch, and I was supposed to be doing another wedding, and so I couldn't do hers, and then it just worked out where I was able to do hers, and it was like the most amazing feeling because we were both so happy to like be
Oh,
together on that day. But the other makeup artist that she had hired was not happy about it. And it's funny because when I'm in a situation like that, and it has happened before, infrequently, but it's happened, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, you vibe more with somebody else. It's cool. Like,
yeah.
I'm still getting paid, so it's all good, right? But this artist made like a huge deal out of it, and made the bride feel really uncomfortable, and it was just like really unnecessary because
Mhm.
again, you're making it about you. It's not about you. It's her wedding day,
Yep. It's
you
the
know?
drama that you both did need to deal with, but she had to make you aware.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Things will happen like that along the entrepreneur journey. I also love that you mentioned in the beginning when you were trying to get a job in Mac that was next to your university or apartment. Um, and you just went in and made someone get you into the door. Like, I love
No,
that
no, no, no.
opportunity.
I didn't. No, it wasn't like that. I didn't go into the store and meet somebody. I met somebody a different way.
Okay.
But it was because I met somebody else and was constantly talking about how I wanted to get a job with Mac. So I met a girl who knew another girl who worked for Mac, and then she introduced us.
So you
So
made
it
a
was like
connection.
that.
Yeah.
I made it happen, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't just walk in and like befriend somebody and make them give me an interview.
This
No.
is so much better though. You actually kept dreaming about your dream, and meeting other
Yeah.
people helped you actually get into that door. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, is that something that you would advise somebody who is a newbie in the industry to do? Just like completely nonstop believing in their dream and believing in, giving their skill to the world and continue pursuing it.
Yeah, that's the only way you make things happen, right? You have to just like be completely focused and just keep going for it.
Is there something else that you thought you'd be doing, or this is exactly how you envisioned your life?
You
Like back
know,
then.
back then, so I pictured fashion. I pictured like owning a store. I pictured selling real estate, which I got my real estate license, and it was not for me either. I just didn't. I didn't even, to be perfectly honest, I didn't really give it a try. Like I got my real estate license during COVID because I was bored and I needed to like learn something. And it was something that was always in the back of my mind. I was like, actually, you know what the other thing was? And we're talking about like my 20-year-old self, right?
Uh-huh.
I wanted to bartend, work for Mac, and sell real estate. Those are my three things. I've not sold real estate. Well, actually, that's not true. I bought and sold real estate, but I was not a real estate agent, but or broker. But yeah, I was a bartender for like a year, and I remember from 20 to 21, and I don't know why I was able to bartend at 20, but I guess if you're not drinking, it's, I don't know. At the time it was fine. And I just remember looking around at all the other like career bartenders, and they were like 36 and not looking great, and I was like, ooh, this is not good. I'm like, this isn't going to end well. You know? I think I should pivot.
Yeah.
So I quit when I was 21, and that's when actually I got the job with Mac. I was doing both, and then I quit because I was with Mac. But I made a lot more money bartending at the time.
Yeah, I would assume so. I've bartended in the past as well, and money was really hard to give up.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I did this like 14-hour shift, and I was 20 years old making like 1,500 a night, and I was like, that was a lot of money for a 20-year-old, you know?
Yeah,
Did I say 15? Anyway, I was 20. I was
yeah,
20 years old.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, bartending is very, very cash positive in a lot of
Hmm.
ways, but not
Yeah.
sustainable for many people, and it wasn't for me either.
Yeah.
Um, what do you love the most about what you do? Oh, actually, before we answer that question, do you outsource some of your work, or is it just you most of the time?
It's just me most of the time. So I do have other artists that I'll call like when I need help with a job, or if like I can't do something, but I don't hire artists.
Okay.
I don't have like a team working for me. I
Okay.
have people who work with me.
Okay. Is that something that you are planning to change, or do you love that setup?
I like it. Like I honestly like as little stress in my life as possible. So I like when I think I like control. So I feel
Mhm.
like I need to be there so that I can be in control.
Okay. That's totally fair. I love that. So, what is it that you love the most about what you do? What is the top highlight of your work existence?
I love working for myself. So I love the freedom. I love the fact that I'm not in the office. I can, create my day according to what makes me happy and what makes me thrive. And I love just like talking with people. So like when I sit down with a client and we're discussing her likes, her dislikes, but then I'll start going into personal things like, let's talk about how you met, the engagement, everything. Like, I just like love going deep with people. So being able to do that in every session and like, really puts people at ease. And then it's like more of a moment than like, I'm just coming to do your makeup.
Yeah, I love that. Making a personal connection is very important in the fields like makeup artism, artistry, ESL moment, artistry.
Artistry.
Um, especially since, like you mentioned, that you did the special wedding this weekend where you were apart for 9 years but kept in touch,
Yeah.
and then you ended up making her day special in such a
Yeah.
way that she remembered that connection. She remembered how you made her feel back then, and that's so important.
Well,
That's
we've seen
how
each other like over the years. Like I've done her makeup over the years and we just like connect on a very like special like level. Like we're with a lot of like things in common.
Mhm.
So it was really nice to be there. And yeah, I made like a nice weekend out of it. My boyfriend came. It was like really
I
nice.
love that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Connecticut, right?
Newport, yeah, Rhode
Okay.
Island.
Yeah, we're going to Newport this weekend, and I was watching your stories, and I was like, "Ooh, where should I
Yeah.
go?" Because I've never been before, and my fiance's uncle lives up there, so we're going to visit the
Oh,
family. But I know nothing about the area, so I'm really excited.
Really, really pretty. I was actually surprised, and funny enough, we had gone up there like a month and a half ago. Just randomly decided to like spend the weekend, and so many beautiful mansions, and it's just like there's like a lot of like fun stuff to do, and like the wharf is really cute. Like it's just like a really cute like New England town.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
It'll be nice.
Yeah. Um, can we tell our listeners a little bit about what is the inspiration that you want to share with them today? Besides all of the things you've already mentioned, what is something that you would suggest to someone who's struggling in the industry? Maybe they're just starting out and having trouble finding clients, or maybe having trouble dealing with the clients that they're attracting. Maybe they haven't defined the style that they're going to work with or the ideal clients. Like, what is the overall advice that you can give to someone?
So I would say that creating a style definitely takes time. Like it took me years to create a like my style. It's just it kind of evolves. But definitely keep up with Instagram and like just social media in general. Um, I don't do a lot of TikTok. Actually, I don't really use TikTok much. Um, I feel like TikTok is great if you want to become an influencer. um I'm like older, so like becoming an influencer like isn't really like my mind doesn't really work that way. If I were younger, I'm sure I would be an influencer because like you make so much more money, you know.
Yeah.
But like a lot of like I always say this, like influencers, like they're doing things to, it's like clickbait, right? It's like you want content, you want followers, you want ads, whatever. And that's different than like actually doing makeup for other people, like just showing like crazy things that really get attention and everything. So like first of all, decide on what you want. Do you want to be an influencer or do you want to be a makeup artist? Because they're actually different. I feel that they are. Even though there are professional makeup artists who have crazy, like, you know, followings because of what they're doing with clients, you're not really going to see them pouring like 3 bottles of foundation on their face and like, you know, blending it all in and then like layering more. It's a different angle, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have followings because of their celebrity clients and stuff. Um, but just keep really consistent. Keep consistent, know your worth, know like I'm all about working smart. So like I'm probably like on a higher end as far as like what I charge for something, but definitely not the highest.
Hmm.
Um so I yeah, like I really think that you have to know your worth and really like provide a service and make people know that you're worth what you are charging.
Hmm. Yeah, that's important. A lot of entrepreneurs, when they get started, they undervalue their services and
Mhm.
undercharge in a lot of ways, until they feel comfortable to charge the prices that they think their services are valued at.
Yeah,
So
but you know what? On the flip side, like you can't just start out and start charging crazy. I mean, you can, but you know, it's it's not always going to work out because people might say like, "Well, okay, this is great, but you don't have what
they
it takes
agree.
to really like follow that up." But
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, it's trial and error, right?
Yeah, yeah, everything is trial and error, everything, really. Well, thank you so
Mhm.
much for sharing all of your experiences, and I am so looking forward to just watching your journey and your travels and all the amazing work that you do. Can you share with our listeners your Instagram tag so they can
Yeah,
follow you?
sure. It's Michelle Stern Beauty. It's really easy.
Amazing. And do you have a website from which they can book, or is it all through
Michelle Stern
DM?
Beauty. But no, I don't like online bookings. Like everything goes through me because again, I like to be in control. And but I'm very responsive. So if somebody sends me an email or like you'll get a response. Like not even 24 hours, you'll get a response
That's amazing.
quickly. Yeah.
That's making me wonder about time management. Since you are so responsive to your clients, how do you manage your time in such a way that you're able to respond so quickly?
So to me, it doesn't take much for me to respond. Like if we're gonna go back and forth and I'm on vacation, then like you know, I'll say I'm on vacation. Let's, continue when I'm back. But like I'll respond to emails on vacation too. It doesn't really take much from me. It's like it's just I don't know. It's like second nature at this point.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
I think when you really, really love what you do and you love what you
I
do,
do.
it's literally not work.
Not work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's work. Like
Yeah.
for me to stop and answer an email, like it's my pleasure. Like I
Right.
don't-
That's really incredible because a lot of entrepreneurs that I coach view their work as something that's taking joy out of their life, which is why they hire me because they don't want to be feeling that way, right? And it's
Mhm.
amazing to see someone who is solopreneur and massively enjoying their work to the point where you're beaming. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I just feel so like lucky. Like I'm every email that comes in, you know what I don't like though? I don't like phone calls. I don't like when people call me. Um
Same. Same. Phone calls are just something that I never understood. Like, I need to see it. I do better when I read. Yeah.
right. And then like if we talk about it on the phone, now like there's no recourse. Like I don't have anything written down. How am I supposed to remember all of that? And I also keep my phone on silent all the time, so I miss calls all the time. And my voicemail even says like, if you've reached me, text me, like I'll respond immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, so phone calls I'm not a fan of, but like if it's text or email, you'll get immediate text, you'll get like immediate response. Unless I'm with a client, but even then you'll only have to wait an hour tops.
I love that. Yeah, same thing. My voice message says, if you reached me and you'd like for me to respond to you, please text.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
love
for me to
that.
like listen, if I have to listen to your voicemail, I'm gonna have to actually like stop what I'm doing. So that's gonna take a while.
Yeah, you're always go, go, go. I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
all of your entrepreneurial wisdom with us today. I am really looking forward to sharing this interview with the world. Everyone, thanks for tuning in to Thrive with Ina podcast. Stay
Yeah.
tuned for this amazing episode and for many more to come. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye. Thank you.